It's become sort of a tradition around these parts as we talk about D-Day in this first weekend of the month of June. And tomorrow would be the 76th anniversary of the D-Day invasions at Normandy. We check in with our friend Carson Greene this morning. This is something that remains very close to his heart. And our conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Carson, good morning.
Good morning, Todd. How are you this day?
Wonderful. It's good to have you on the air with us today, too.
Nice to be here.
You know, last year on D-Day, which was Friday, June the 6th, we were able to talk on the 75th anniversary with an author who'd written a great new book about it. We talked with Walter. Walter Schroth was on the beach at Normandy when we spoke with him. We had all kinds of special things happening, and you were a part of that program as well. And I don't know that we've announced this yet or not, but that program, that entire program, won a Pennsylvania Association of Broadcasters award for excellence. And, well, when you have a topic such as that, it never exhausts itself, does it?
No, congratulations to you and the others. I think that's a great honor, especially to all the folks with the greatest generation whom we were talking about that day. Yeah,
so one of those that we talked about and will renew acquaintances is your uncle. Was it your uncle, Silbert Greene?
Yes, my dad had 5 brothers, all boys in the family there, and 4 of them served in World War II, and Silbert was the one who went to Omaha Beach on D-Day.
Mm-hmm. He actually lost his life that day. Were the others at Normandy, or were they not in that area or in that theater of operation?
No, one was in England, one was in Africa, and I'm not too sure where the other one served some time. But, it's interesting, 76 years ago, like you mentioned, tomorrow, my uncle, Sergeant Silbert Greene, hit the beach at 6:30. And, at 1:30 in the afternoon, he lost his life. He made the beach. Mm-hmm. He and his other soldiers, they made the beach, and 12 of them were killed by snipers. And that's how he died. He actually died in England because they shipped him back to England the same day, and he died on D-Day.
Yeah.
Shot on D-Day. But anyway, the beach he hit was called Bloody Red Beach. Mm-hmm. Later. First it was called Easy Red Beach, but later it was called Bloody Red Beach. So there was quite a few casualties on that particular beach.
And we recall last year the story you told us about the museum over there, and I want to move in a different direction this time because I want to sort of get a mental image of what's happening here on the home shores when what'd you say? 4 of the 5 brothers were serving in the military during World War II. They were deployed. And what that must have meant for your grandmother.
Well, it's interesting. My grandmother, unfortunately, passed away at 37 years old. She got, I think, strep throat. And about a few months before Silbert was killed, my grandfather died. So the brothers were there, to think about what the casualties of war. So anyway, it was pretty tough on the brothers because, as I said, 3 other brothers were also in combat zones during World War II. So, you mentioned Private Ryan. I watched that movie. I try to watch it anytime it's on. But when I sit there and watch that, I think about those poor soldiers who were heroes hitting that beach. And my uncle, along with many others, was one of those people who made the beach, and his group are actually the first ones to break the line of the Germans, and he was in the Big Red 1, 1st Platoon, G Company, 16th Infantry. And if I could quickly just tell you a story about that, I was contacted by an owner of the museum in Colville-sur-Mer, France, which is pretty close to where my uncle died. Mm-hmm. A few years ago, a farmer came to this owner of this museum and had some equipment. And the equipment was equipment from a soldier. It was a helmet, a canteen, some other things. And my uncle, it was his equipment. the curator of the museum did the research and notified me that he had found this equipment. And he also sent me a picture of another soldier with my uncle, Malcolm Appleman. Now, Malcolm Appleman was also killed on D-Day. They were friends in the same unit. In fact, Malcolm received the Silver Star. But so I did some research on Mr. Appleman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from West Virginia. My uncles were from West Virginia. I found out that Malcolm Appleman, who died with my uncle, is buried in Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
So I went down to the cemetery. In fact, I went this year and stood there after placing a flag on his grave and realizing or pondering the fact that he died with my uncle the same day in Normandy. And here I am living 35 miles from someone who died with my uncle in the war. That is so ironic, but I just want to mention that Malcolm Appleman is from Johnstown, and he died the same day.
That's amazing. It really is. And you have told us that story in the past. Carson, to you and to people who were alive at that time and to people who have heard the stories passed down through the generations from their families at that time, why is it important that we remember not only the greatest generation, but the D-Day invasion, the greatest military invasion in history?
Well, it did involve the greatest generation, and I think every generation has greatness. However, that was World War II, and World War II had many, many, many young men and women killed, thousands. Plus the Germans, plus the other people. We had millions of people killed over a war. And it just reminds us that even though sometimes the generations have different ideas and different goals and that sort of thing, we are still one country. We are one group of Americans who fought for our country. And I'm confident that the young people today may not be as aware of what they did on D-Day or during World War II, but they must remember that this is a part of our history, our growth, our mistakes, our successes, and to try to piggyback, if you will, on what those young men and women did, the greatest generation. And there's a reason why this group of people is called the greatest generation.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, it's a different time. It's a different era. We're having some rough times in this country now, but there's no doubt in my mind that each one of those folks who fought with the greatest generation would do it all over again.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to realize that we are Americans. We should be proud of that, and we never should forget any of the wars. But the special group, this greatest generation, seem to be the ones who really changed the course of history and the world by defeating the Nazis in Germany and that sort of thing. So,
well, it is certainly something that we need to remember and will remember tomorrow, the 76th anniversary of the D-Day invasion, and I hope that folks will take the opportunity to, if they have somebody who served in their family or if they know of a family member who served, that they'll find a way to honor and salute them.
Yes, I hope so. I think that people will do that because I'm sure there'll be a lot of coverage on TV and all that sort of thing, but I think it's important to remember those, and that's why I bring this up every year. I don't want my uncle or any of those folks who hit that beach in Normandy or any other beach during the war to be forgotten.
Carson, thank you for spending some time with us today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and have a great day, and we're all going to get through everything we're going through.
You bet we will, and we're turning green today. Have a wonderful one. We'll see you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.